is the leaderboard as we go into day number 3, and there is CrossFit Queens with 318 points, passing Woodbridge and Milford.
Their day yesterday was just incredible, and they're going to ride that momentum into this final day of competition. But CrossFit and Milford there in 7th place, they have their work cut out for them today. They need to bring it today, brush off yesterday, because they were our 2nd place team last year out of the East.
We will see CrossFit Queens in heat number 3 this morning, but here's what heat number 1 has ahead of them.
Today the teams are going to do female pairs and then male pairs. And what they're going to do, they're going to share their work together. So 20 rope climbs together, and they both get on a rower. They're going to do 40 calories each, and then go back to share some work with 60 snatches. Ladies are going to do 95 pounds. The men, when they get to the snatches, it'll be 135. So the men cannot go until the ladies are done all of their work. There's a 17-minute time cap in this event, and so far no one in the world has finished this event.
Here's how they will line up. CrossFit Roseland in lane number 5 in 21st place. Flower City CrossFit in lane 6, 22nd, and ADM is in lane 4. They sit in 23rd. Those are the highest ranking teams here in the first heat. It's the final day, Tanya. These teams obviously not in contention to get to Madison, but hey, you have made it to the regionals, one of the fittest boxes in the entire world. You want to finish out strong, go down fighting.
You absolutely do. You want to prove that you made it here for a reason, and you want to show that off all the way to the end.
Here we go. The females will begin. First, going to be 20 rope climbs for the pair. And at 20 rope climbs, a lot of times in team competition, or if you're doing a partner workout at your box, naturally you want to split it 10 and 10, but really you want to play to your partner's strengths.
Yeah, there's going to be a lady on your team or in your pair that says, I want those. And there's usually a lady that says, I want the barbell. So if you can kind of do that, divvy that up, really the key to this one is dividing the load so that it's appropriate for your abilities. And this far into the competition, how tired are you? How fatigued are you? Do you still have the pulling power in your lats? This event is all pulling. And if that's not your strength, or if you're tired there, you have to be able to adjust and let your partner know.
And of course, it's the rope that we saw brought into the games a couple of years ago, the one that does not hang all the way to the floor. So for the majority of the athletes, unless you have an incredibly high leg pull, you're going to have to do a little bit of legless with just the arms just to get your feet hooked around it.
And really that rope, the way it swings is really more awkward than anything. They have the strength ability, but you're swinging around. It's just not as stable as when the rope is on the ground when you go for a legless, because it's swinging around. So it takes a little bit of time to adapt to that. We'll have a few reps here to do that. They've done it in the practice area.
You talk about an annoyance, even a rope, a full-length rope that may be just an inch off of the ground, you will begin to spin the helicopter. It's amazing how just a little bit of rope on the ground will keep you in a stationary position.
Now she's able to lock her legs in. For the ladies, they're a little shorter as well, so the guys will see them jump a little higher and they won't have to do as many of the legless. But some of our shorter athletes on the female side, they're going to have to do quite a bit more pulling without their legs.
Interesting, watching these two female athletes, Tanya, both have a watch on. Not sure if that's going to be for timing within the events, if they have program rest time, whether it's here in the rope climbs, whether it's once they get to the barbell or not. But, you know, it has gotten to be like a lot of team sports. You see wristbands, laminated wristbands with rep schemes, but maybe some sort of timing to time their rest out here.
Well, if you're practiced, a lot of times in competition, it's easy to go quicker than what you've practiced and what your body can handle. So coaches know that, and you know what you should be able to do. And even when you have a plan and you say, I'm going to wait 10 seconds, I'm not going to go before 10 seconds because I know that's my breaking point. You get to competition, there's adrenaline, and you're going at 6 seconds, you're going at 5 seconds, and then you hit failure, you hit fatigue a lot earlier.
Here is Metric in lane number 1. The black top, blue pants out of CrossFit Metric in Toronto, Ontario. They had a 28th and 29th on the first day, a 24th and 29th yesterday. They sit at 29th overall. They were 8th in the Canada East region and 66th worldwide. We go back to Flower City CrossFit in the white tank top out of Rochester, New York. They were 13th in the Northeast. Had their best finish so far yesterday to close out moving day at 15th place in event number 4 to bump up to 22nd overall.
And even though they're going singles one at a time here with the rope climbs, there's just not a lot of time to shake it out and recover and rest. So we're seeing some of the ladies hesitate to get up there. In team competitions, you don't want any rest in these transitions, but you're seeing they're not able to jump right back up, and this is what's eating a lot of time up. So by the time that the male competitors get to the rope, they're not going to have the same amount of time for their portion of the work.
Tanya LaBelle just finished off. She tags on to Victoria Caruso out of CrossFit Roseland of Roseland, New Jersey. 10th of the Northeast, 88 worldwide. Their best finish in event 2 on Friday, a 14th place in event number 2, a 17th and a 19th yesterday.
Now there's failure. Athletes are coming down. They're not making the full climb there. And you just have to wait. Either you decide you wait it out, or you let your teammate go, and maybe she's strong enough that she can jump back up there before you and give you a full recovery. But they have to communicate that and talk to each other.
They've got to show control on the way back down. Bionic CrossFit, which brought a big band section here. They're out of Newington, Connecticut, 18th in the Northeast, 164th worldwide. They made a jump briefly yesterday with a 13th place in event 3, but a 26th place in event 4, dropped it back down to 26th overall. But again, very proud box as we saw the Bionic shirts walk in Friday morning. Black shirts with the gold print. They stood out to support their athletes at the gym. Back to lane number 1. That is Metric CrossFit. Getting out of Toronto, Ontario. They are less than 5 reps remaining on the 20 rope climbs.
Well, that's the thing that's so exciting about the competition, the team competition. You get the affiliates to come out and support, and sometimes it seems like those individuals are a little more larger than life, a little untouchable, but they know these athletes, they know the teams, and they can get behind them even more because it's such a personal level for them. It's so fun to see and listen to the fans that are losing their voices from screaming all weekend and how passionate they are. It's so cool.
Lane number 9, CrossFit Laval, Force 5 out of CrossFit Laval in Laval, Quebec. 4th in Canada, 31st worldwide. The 2 females, Olivia Rodeau-Benzeri and Isabelle Tardif, are their first female pair. And again, Alexis Dufour and Sanodino will be their male pairs once they get on. The 19th and 28th on day 1. Here is lane number 2. It's CrossFit North Haven out of North Haven, Connecticut, 13th in the Northeast. Their highest finish was on the very first event, a 20th on day number 1. That's Beshi and DeCessa on the rowers in the white pants. Off to the left, you have Nicole Carrero and Jennifer Heaton out of Metric in the blue pants, black tops. And again, that's CrossFit North Haven in the white pants on your right. Here is lane number 9. Again, CrossFit Laval, Force 5. They currently have the lead. And again, they have got to knock out 40 calories, so they're about halfway to the 40 calories.
And with the calories, it's something that you see that the leaders take. You look at the monitor and you can feel good that you're chipping away, but here's what's happening to your body. You've done all the pulling on the rope, and now, all right, your lats are a little tired, grip's a little smoked, so you're going to drive with the legs really hard on this rower. But what that's going to do when you get to the bar, now you're pulling from your lats and your back and your arms, and now your legs from pushing and driving on the rower are fatigued. And then they're going to have to do those snatches. The barbell for the snatches weighs 95 pounds, so that's a load that it's a fine load. They can rep them out in multiple bigger chunks, but under fatigue, your best teams are going to be able to hold on to bigger sets, but some of the teams that aren't as strong, they're going to fall apart. They're going to start to break down because of that fatigue.
Lane 7, Move Fast Freedom out of CrossFit Athletic Academy in Holbrook, New York. Emma Ferreira and Kristen Munoz, the female pair. They are working through the first part of this event. Ryan McCarthy and Anthony Veranta will be the male pairs once they finish. Move Fast Freedom and a couple of 17th place finishes to finish out day 1 and day number 2. Currently 24th overall as you take a look across the field. Again, rowing, it's legs. Keep those arms straight. Get as big of a pull as you can. And let's face it, it favors a taller athlete.
It does. And I like the way that I see the teammates really watching each other's monitors, because it does not benefit you to push harder than you have to. If you're the bigger athlete, you can actually sit back just a little bit, recover a little more. You don't have to work as hard and just sit there and rest. If you've ever been on the rower, you know the damage it can do to you if you push just a little bit too hard.
So again in lane 9, it's CrossFit Laval, Force 5, and the record is a cap plus 15. Nobody in Europe finished it. Team Butchers have the event record of the cap with 15 reps remaining for the males on the snatches. So we have CrossFit Laval Force 5, the only team, the only female pair right now on the snatches. And here's where it pays Tanya to have a pre-programmed rep scheme instead of doing the max set and then just dying out. They're going to move the barbell forward every 10 reps to get to 60 before the male pair will take over. Move Fast Freedom is close to getting off the rower. Now here they come. They'll be in second. So they made up some ground. They weren't in the top 3 to the rower, but they're now in second overall.
And this was the team I was watching when they were on the rower. They were aware of each other's monitors. They were checking the pacing and the calories. This was the athlete that was kind of strolling and recovering. And probably for this reason, she could do just enough on the rower, but then rip out this huge set on the barbell.
Metric up on lane 1. Wow. You see top of your screen. And look out for Move Fast Freedom and the red shorts. But Metric remains in third. So it's Laval, Move Fast, and Metric, your top 3. But watch out for Move Fast. They are the team that's starting to bust through these snatches. North Haven CrossFit right off to your right of the white pants.
In comparison here, in the blue singles, it's a lot different when we see the relaxed and composed look here. Move Fast can handle this barbell.
Move Fast was probably about 30 seconds or so behind CrossFit Laval, but once they put the hands on the barbell, just as her name said, they moved very, very fast, and they are walking it forward again and just reeling in. A few reps still behind Laval, but it's not very far. They're within 10 reps of catching up. And again, it's kind of a two-part event here. The female pairs, and they'll turn it over to the male pairs. You can't win the event here, but you can put the males in a really bad spot once they get on the floor. But these teams right now doing very well setting up the second pair.
That's nothing new to the team competition. We see Dave Castro, the director of the games, he programs a lot of times these females going first. And that's a way to say, you can't have a weak link. Your females can't be your weak link. He'll send them first, and then let the guys catch up. And it's a two-part thing. You know, first, girls, you can't hold back or you're going to waste all that time. And guys, once you get it, how fast can you go within that time and make them push themselves even more?
Move Fast Freedom, Emma Ferreira and Kristen Munoz, again, doing a nice job on the snatches. Rotating in and out, not getting too big of a set. Few reps, move out of the way and rotate in. Laval continues to lead, but that is Move Fast Freedom in the black top, red shorts on the front of your screen.
If she can continue to look this way through, she may be fine, and now she's doing some communicating. That's what she needs to do. The way she looks compared to the others out there on the floor, she is just able to cycle that barbell so much faster.
That is CrossFit Laval, as it's Isabelle Tardif rotating out, and here comes Radu Menzer to take over. And again in the red shorts, just on the top of your screen there, Move Fast Freedom. But Laval's going to keep at least a 5-rep lead.
Gutsy for Laval. They're dropping faster under the bar, and they really pull themselves under, but I'm surprised over Move Fast that she switched, she traded out, she really could have made a push there.
Judge. So the females for Laval are done in 12:11. They maintain the lead the entire time. So there's less than 5 minutes remaining in the cap for the males to get through this. And it becomes a sprint here on the second pair. Mentioning the judges real quick, we do want to thank the judges, the volunteers, all the staff that helps put on these regions.
We do little competitions at our box, and we know everything that goes into it. You can't even imagine what goes on here at the regional level. It takes an army to put these events on.
3 reps now remaining, or less than 5 for Move Fast Freedom. Got a no rep. I'm not sure if both plates touch the ground. Nice job, checks just to make sure that rep's good. And so now it'll be Move Fast as your second team in.
Think about it from the guys' side. They are warmed up in the warm-up area. They're ready to compete, and then they come out here and they stand for 12 minutes, over 12 minutes. it's a lot for the guys. They're going to want to go right out of the gates, push so hard, but they have a lot of work cut out for them, so they have to be just really quick with the transitions, be consistent, be smart.
Gianpaolo Bernardo and Kai Sorensen, the two males from Metric, on the blue pants to the black top. They have been third. Their females went third on the row, and then finished the snatches. They've been consistent. Laval has maintained the lead the whole way through. The big mover so far is Move Fast Freedom. Not in the top three to get off the rope, but they were second off the rower and then second done with the snatches. And here is CrossFit Laval. Their two males, Alexis Dufour and Zano Dino. They have a little over 4 minutes before this gap, and this event, this test, very difficult because nobody in Europe was able to finish it. So there is Laval on the far side of your screen. Nearest to you in the white shirts is Move Fast. So those are your top two here in heat number 1, with Laval leading when the females were done. Not sure the rope count. We're going to see who comes off the rope first. But it sure does look, Tanya, like Move Fast is cycling through those rope climbs quickly. They
really are hustling, and their guys don't really, at least that last gentleman didn't know. And same thing, they're just going legless the whole way. It's a lot quicker than they pinch the rope when they get to the top. It's a lot quicker if they can do that. They're just risking some more fatigue in the grip, a little more in the lats and the arms. But it is the faster way to go, and if you have the strength and have the ability to do so, that will get you up the rope a lot quicker.
Right now, through the females, it's Laval, CrossFit Laval, Move Fast, Metric, North Haven CrossFit, and ADM. Team ADM out of Quebec are your top 5. Those are the 5 female teams that have finished. We just saw Norwalk come in as well. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Back to lane number 9. That is CrossFit Laval, Force 5. No pacing here. You've got to go. You have less than 2 minutes. You've got to get on that barbell. Big long pulls. Yesterday when we saw some of the rope tests, the first 2 days, we talk about long strokes, get the pace down. You got to throw it. You got to pacing out with less than 2 minutes remaining. You have to get through this. So now Laval stays in first, trying to be chased down by Move Fast here in the red shorts.
Yeah, at this point in the game, this stage in the competition, you just have to go all out. It doesn't have to look cute. You're not conserving energy. Just go. You don't have the time on your side.
About 20 counts to go now. That is halfway, and they've got a little over a minute. Let's say a good male rower can get those 20 counts in less than a minute. You're getting a pound per stroke here. So they will get onto the barbell, but they've got to move on down the floor and just grip it and rip it.
And it is hard to do after all the work they have, because they weren't pacing out the rope either. They were hustling to get up there, so they came to the rower already breathing.
Well, he's trying to get the fan going in the rower, the Concept 2 rower on the sprint start. Long strokes by the male on the right, quicker and shorter strokes on the left. I thought he was just doing a sprint start there, the short strokes to get it moving, but he's kind of keeping it. It's good though, Tanya. Keep the heels on the paddle. Here we go. It is CrossFit Laval. They will get to the barbell. They will grab as many as they can in the 10 remaining seconds.
He just needs to hold on to that. What a push. Nice effort. They gave it everything they had. And that's hard to do with that barbell, because it wasn't a lot of seconds, but I'm sure it felt like that as soon as he started snatching. Well, this was a tough one. Started out with the ladies, and it was Laval, Force 5. They led it from the start, never gave up the lead, had some pressure once they got to the barbell, but really they were in control of this event. They really shared the workload. There wasn't a weaker link that we saw. They really were very evenly paired and gave their guys enough time to get through all 3 elements. Not enough time to finish up that last barbell, but the first guy that got there, he picked it up and he didn't look back. He held on with all of his might.
Now, tough of a test. Nobody has finished the event in Europe or the East. Heat 2 is on the way from Albany.
Ten seconds. Stand by. The ice broken here on day number 3 here at our East Regionals for the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. And heat number 2 underway, your team events. Our first 2 team members up, the ladies, 20 rope climbs. Right into 40 calories on that Concept 2 rower. And 60 snatches with that rogue barbell. The ladies, 95 pounds. The gentlemen, 135 pounds. Score to beat here today. Out of heat number 1, 6 snatches by the gentlemen. 6 total snatches, the score to beat. Our athletes tagging back and forth, rep for rep up that rope climb. Keep your eyes on the judges. Those hands go up, 5 or less reps remaining for that discipline. 90 seconds in, a 17-minute time cap here for event number 5. Team event 5 on day number 3 here, presented by Fittest. That shorter rope, your athletes have to jump up. Virtually a legless rope climb until they got enough rope underneath them to get their legs wrapped around that rope, touch that top beam of that massive rogue rig. Looking for a total of 20 rope climbs for our 2 athletes. Hands up for lane number 9, CrossFit Select. Lane 5, CrossFit Quebec City. And lane number 4, Coliseum Strength. And now Yankee CrossFit in lane number 7. We'll see who makes it off the rope first, heading out to those Concept 2 rowers for a quick 40 calories. Looking to be out in the lead, lane number 9, CrossFit Select. We'll see if they can hang on to the lead with 2 climbs to go, and now 2 for Coliseum Strength. Your top 3 and 4 teams all within a rep or so of each other. And it will be Coliseum Strength, just by a few steps in front of CrossFit Select in lane number 9. So it goes 1, Coliseum Strength, 2, CrossFit Select in lane number 9, and now 3, CrossFit Quebec City in lane number 5. As we cross over the 4.5-minute mark, your first athletes hitting those Concept 2 rowers, both athletes mounting up for 40 calories each. The second movement of this triplet here this morning. The ladies first, as it should be. A 17-minute time cap here for our event number 5. After that row, on to 60. Ground to overhead in that snatch grip. 95 pounds on that rogue barbell. And now CrossFit New England, down in lane number 10. Tori and Becca strapping up. Seven of our 10 teams onto that concept 2 row. And now 9 of our 10 teams. Just about the entire heat. Moving on to that second portion. 2 climbs to go. Down in lane number 2 for CrossFit Crag. As we come up on the 6-minute mark. 6 minutes in. Hitting the rower first, Coliseum Strength in lane number 4. Followed directly by CrossFit Select, lane number 9. And CrossFit Quebec City in lane number 5. $40 calories is what we're looking for. Hands are up for CrossFit Select. Less than 5 calories to go. But staying out of the lead, Coliseum Strength in lane number 4. The first ladies to touch up on that rogue barbell, and they will go to work. Orange tank tops, black pants. And now CrossFit Select in lane number 9. Just about 4 reps behind. And CrossFit Select black tops will go straight to work. No breath needed. Chipping away at that 60 rep count. Snatches 95 pounds. Keep track of your athletes. They will march down the competition floor every 10 reps before the gentlemen can jump onto the floor and go to work. And CrossFit Select is working. They are. Lane number 9. Hitting the barbell in that number 2 position. But now with a slight advantage. It goes 1 CrossFit Select in lane number 9. 2 Coliseum Strength in lane number 4. And just about half of our heat knotted up for that 3rd and 4th place position. Just over the 8-minute mark. And our ladies moving right along. In the previous heat, the ladies exiting the floor right around that 11-minute mark. We'll see if heat number 2 can best that right here. And speaking of best, score to beat here today in the East. 6 total snatches for the gentlemen. 6 total snatches. +30 reps in for CrossFit Select. 20 for Coliseum Strength. 20+ in for Yankee CrossFit now in lane number 7. +30 reps in for Coliseum Strength in lane number 4. Your ladies trying to regain that lead, but CrossFit Select in lane number 9 really putting in the work, fast transition and quick cycling with that 95-pound barbell. With no signs of slowing down, the ladies less than 20 reps away. from getting their gentlemen onto the floor. And now 10 reps to go for CrossFit Select in lane number 9. As we cross over the 10-minute mark, 10 minutes down, 7 minutes remaining for our gentlemen. 7 minutes to go. Two reps to go for CrossFit Select. Let's hear it for your ladies in lane number 9 out of CrossFit Select. That'll do it. Touching up that chest piece. Your first male partners onto the floor at the 10:27 mark. And they will just chip into that lead. 2 rope climbs down, 18 to go for CrossFit Select. Make it 3 down. Coliseum Strength looking to tie up that number 2 position currently. Lane number 4 with those orange tops. And now Yankee CrossFit in 7. Very close as well, and Yankee will hang on to the barbell. And now they will tag up, less than 5 to go for Coliseum Strength. 3 to go for Coliseum down in lane number 4, and now 5 to go for Yankee. Advantage Coliseum Strength in lane number 4, 2 to go, make it 1, and that'll do it for your number 2 position, sending the gentleman onto the floor for Coliseum Strength. And now Yankee. Your top 3 teams with their men on the floor working on their final triplet. 12 minutes in, 5 minutes remaining, 5 minutes to go. Our ladies trying to finish up on those 95-pound snatches. The gentlemen of CrossFit Select leading the way on the rope climbs with 5 reps to go, 15 reps in for CrossFit Select. Digging into that lead. To go for your leaders, CrossFit Select in lane number 9 as we cross over the 13-minute mark. On no rep for CrossFit Select. 1 to go for CrossFit New England's ladies, and they will run across the line to close it out, sending the gentlemen. But CrossFit Select, the gentlemen on the floor for their 40 calories on that Concept 2 rower, digging into that substantial lead and looking to be your only gentleman with a shot at finishing underneath that 17-minute time cap here for event number 5. Score to beat 6 snatches by the gentleman. And CrossFit Select already coming up on 15 calories in lane number 9. There's always an advantage here. One of our teams could be quicker on one of the disciplines than the other, but the one thing that remains constant is that time ticks away. As we come up on the 15-minute mark, it is going fast. Your closest team right now, lane number 9. Black shirts, sweet haircuts, and dismounting those concept 2 rowers, 40 calories in, nothing but 60 snatches to go with that 135-pound Rogue barbell. Score to beat, 6 reps. And a little more than 90 seconds to do that. And that looks like that will not be a problem. Seven reps in now for CrossFit Select and the new score to beat as they keep chipping away at that lead here in heat number 2. 10 reps down, 50 to go. 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining. I know it's early, Albany, but get behind your teams here. And heat number 2, we got 60 seconds remaining. I know I say it all the time, but it's true. The last minute is the best minute. Let's make some noise for your leaders, CrossFit Select, as they chip away at that lead. Going for the score to beat here. 20 reps in for Select. 30 seconds remaining, teams. 30 seconds remaining. Don't stop now. All alone out in lane number 9, but here comes Quebec City. Gonna try to chip away at that lead as well. 15 seconds remaining. 10 seconds, we're gonna count you down. Give it up, Albany, for CrossFit Select. 3, 2, 1, and time. Unofficially, the score to beat now, 29 snatches, 29 snatches.
Heat 3 entering the competition floor in Albany, New York. It is the final heat of event number 5. We're going to see if somebody can finish event number 5 here on the 3rd day of the East Regional. I'm Jeff Private alongside Tanya Wagner, Nick Zielinski on the competition floor. We'll talk to him a little bit later. And here's how it stands with 200 points remaining on day number 3. Invictus Boston went up to number 1 yesterday. A big race, really. There's a lot of teams still in play, but Team CrossFit Queens made the big move, as we talked about earlier, to get into 5th place.
They did, and they're 14 points ahead of East Woodbridge, so they're not guaranteed. They still have their work that they have to do today, but East Woodbridge 14 points back, 26 points out is CrossFit Milford. They are the ones that have the pressure on them. They're going to make a push. Here's the first event they're going to have today. It's the females will go first through it, and then the males, 20 rope climbs, 40 calories each, and then 60 snatches. They get to split up the work between the rope climbs and the snatches between the two. The barbell for the ladies is 95 pounds. For the men, it's 135. No team has finished this so far. It's a 17-minute time cap.
That'll be a challenge in itself. Here is how they line up the first place team in lane number 5, Invictus Boston. CrossFit Queens in lane number 3. They are the gatekeeper over East Woodbridge and CrossFit Milford. Milford in lane 2, East Woodbridge in lane 8. But really, in team competition, even though physics may be 60 points out, it's not a lot to make up. There are the Queens fans from Astoria, New York. They were 8th of the Northeast, 62 in the Open. Had that big first place finish in event 4, a first and a second yesterday. Went from outside the top 5. They went 7th into 5th place. Underway, and as I was saying, 60 points, maybe a lot. This is individual competition, but it just takes one home run or one, let's face it, disaster to really jumble up that leaderboard for a top 5.
Queens knows that. I mean, they dug themselves out of the hole from that very first event, and so they don't want to go back there. And this is the heat that has the pressure. The other teams in the first 2 heats, they're just trying to get through, finish up as strong as they can, but the pressure isn't on them. These are the teams that know that any mistake matters, that everything they do, they have to execute their game.
2 females, Amy Drake, have a games individual veteran. Deanna Gabaldi, again 8th in the Northeast. They were 26 in the games a year ago. And trying to knock out these 20 rope climbs as a pair. And the majority of these teams have gone, you go, I go.
And so the athletes here are doing a nice job so far of quick transitions, and they really need to be aggressive. Jeff, you and I were just talking about it, the 17-minute time cap. The ladies can't treat that as I have all the time in the world, and these ladies aren't. They're aggressive, they're going after it, and they're really attacking, and that's good to see.
Here is East Woodbridge, Reebok CrossFit East Woodbridge out of Ontario, 2nd in Canada East, and Laura Hosier and Sandra Hamilton. There are 2 females, only 14 points back. They have done well. They've been very consistent. How intense has the team competition gotten? An 8th, a 3rd, a 6th, a 7th. All top 8 finishes, but they're 14 points out of the top 5.
And that's what's crazy. They came in yesterday in 5th place, so they were in that comfort zone in a qualifying spot, got knocked out, but it's not because they didn't do well. I mean, the top 7 teams only have 2 event finishes outside of the top 10 for all of those teams. It is a very tight race, and I love that, especially going into this last day.
That's Brianna Hamilton, goes by Breezy. Kelsey Kill about to take the rope now. They are in first place, a 3rd and a 6th yesterday to move up to first place. That 3rd place finish in event 3, put them in first. They held on to it in event 4. They have a 20-point lead in first place, 48-point lead to get a top 5 qualifying spot.
Guys, you've already mentioned CrossFit Queens out there in lane 5, 5th place after 2 days. They had a 2nd and a 1st place on events 3 and event 4. We've talked about experience all weekend, and no team tops the experience of CrossFit Queens. Almost 20 years of experience when it comes to regionals. An interesting tactic for them. While most teams tend to denote one person or one member as a captain, Queens doesn't see it that way. They start with Amy Dracup. She's got 10 years experience at regionals. When she begins to tire or wear down and the team can see that she can't lead them anymore, Ian Berger will take over. From there, the next member will take over. From there, the next member will take over. They don't really have a denoted team captain. They kind of use a chain of command. A little different than what we see in most teams these days within CrossFit Reaches and the CrossFit Games. Could be an added advantage for Queens. Highly experienced. 5th place as they try to hold off East Woodbridge. Only 14 points up on that 6th spot.
Thanks a lot, Nick. And we just saw the female there have a little bit of trouble getting the hook. Here's East Woodbridge, and talking about them being just on the outside, Tanya, they don't want that to happen again. 1 spot last year from Madison, Wisconsin, as they race to the rowers. And they are doing this with an intent, and here comes the rest of the field. Lane number 3, again, that's CrossFit Queens. Here is East Woodbridge on the forefront of your screen in the gray top and the black pants. And they are pacing this out. Not really pacing, but they are going for it, trying to look at this as maybe an 8.5-minute test for each pair.
And that's the kind of intensity they can work with because they are the best of the best. They don't have weaknesses like some of the other teams do. But I am just disappointed in what just happened there. That could have been the costly mistake for CrossFit Queens. The athlete not able to get her foot locked in there on her rope climb. That cost them being the first to get to the rowers. And hope they can brush that off and make up some time. They're going to need to.
So Queens right there in the green pants and the light tops, trying to knock out these 40 calories before they go into 60 snatches. But again, it's East Woodbridge in the lead and trying to jump Queens. See if they can beat them head-to-head here and get enough points in between them. With a 14-point difference, they won't need too many teams in between their finish. 17-minute time cap, but if you'll split the work evenly, which is obviously hard to do, about 8.5-minute pace to get through this event. And again, no team has finished this event. As you look at East Woodbridge, a quick look over at each other's monitors from time to time to make sure they're about the same.
This is the point in the event where you really just need to drive, really focus on your form as much as you can, push with those legs, pull with the arms, and a lot of these athletes know themselves. They can look at the monitor and know right where they need to be for their calories and how many strokes they need to pull. Calories are something a little easier to test because you get that constant feedback.
Talking about CrossFit Queens and their 14-point lead, Tanya, you know how the scoring system works, but for those who don't out there that are watching, kind of a graduated scale. There's a bigger gap of points the higher you finish, and then it shrinks. So you're rewarded for a higher place finish, the 100 points, then the 94 points, then it starts to shrink. But at 14 points, if you finish high on the leaderboard, in an event, you don't need as many spots. Now, if you're kind of in the middle, you need to make up a lot of spots, but East Woodbridge would need about 3 or 4 teams in between them and Queens, maybe to make that jump into the top 5.
And that's where it pays to be a winner, but when all the top athletes or the top teams are putting up those scores in the top, they're all getting those points. And I am just so impressed there with CrossFit Invictus. They are just handling that barbell.
I knew they would be good at the barbell. They kind of laid back on the rope, got onto the rope, made up some ground. It was East Woodbridge first to the barbell, and now Invictus, your first place team with a 20-point lead in first and a 48-point cushion to go to Madison, Wisconsin. But right now, it's going to be East Woodbridge and Invictus. There is Brianna Hamilton, Kelsey Kill right behind her, and back to CrossFit Queens in lanes number 3. They just got to the barbell here, so they have some ground to make up if they want to stay in the top 5 with one event remaining. They've got to make their way through these snatches. 60 total snatches. They move the barbell up every 10 repetitions.
What makes this event such a great test, in my opinion, is that we categorize movements in CrossFit in different categories: gymnastics, Metcon, and weights. And we're seeing all 3 of those elements here, so it shows that this is a great test for your best teams. So even though you might not hold on to a lead, we're seeing the Invictus be able to make up some of the difference here on the strength portion, and that's going to give the push to Queens and Woodbridge to say, all right, you guys got to keep that speed up.
Kelsey Kill, you see her in the middle of your screen in the dark pants, and here comes Brianna Hamilton. They are putting on a clinic how to get through this. A little bit of a split snatch there. That is fine as long as you stand it straight up and go up with the barbell in one motion. Again, no one has finished this event. Team Butcher's Lab over in Europe, cap plus 15. But these 2 females were Invictus Boston, showing everyone else how to attack.
They hold on for good, big sets, and they're so smooth on the barbell. But at 95 pounds, that is a relatively light barbell for these ladies who are putting up snatches in the close to 200 pounds for max efforts. This is their area where they really can make up that time, and that's awesome for their guys watching this, waiting in the wings.
They're just going 5 at a time. So smooth, still looks fairly effortless. Once we see them get into the back half of the 60s, we're seeing a lot of people labor, but Brianna Hamilton making it look like it's an empty barbell.
And they can't forget, though, the gentlemen have a lot of work to do, so they need to still move. They still need to hustle because the pressure is on.
So foreground is Woodbridge again trying to get into that top 5. Middle of your screen in the lead is Invictus in first place overall. And at the pace these 2 teams are on, Woodbridge and Invictus, we're going to have a chance maybe at an event record. They're going to get out right around 9 or so minutes. Hamilton trying to finish up the last 5 snatches for Invictus Boston. Once they hit their lane marker, the 2 males will be released. So there you go, 9:06. It's Invictus in first place. East Woodbridge trying to finish out, but now the Invictus males will take over. They are blasting through the rope climbs, ropeless. You talked about it earlier. Obviously, a little more tax in the arms with a quicker cycle time. Bottom of your screen, it's Woodbridge. And in lane number 2, Milford making a move. That's one of the teams that is outside the top 5. They're about 26 points out of the top 5. So we'll see if East Woodbridge can wrap up. They have less than 5 reps remaining. Doing what they need to do to track down CrossFit Queens.
And they have had a nearly perfect event from our standpoint, seeing what the ladies need to do to get through that. No errors, no costly mistakes.
Here's CrossFit Queens still back on the barbell. 5 reps remaining.
And they were your leaders on the rope. They were were battling there with Woodbridge, had that no rep on the rope that cost a lot of seconds.
And they'll tag the chest piece. Males will take over. Invictus, with the strength of the barbell, Kelsey Gill and Brianna Hamilton are about a minute ahead of the event record pace that we saw a little bit earlier, the cap plus 29. Or the cap plus 15, excuse me, that Butcher's Lab got over in Europe. So their females took care of business. As long as the Invictus males can get through this and get on the barbell and start chewing up the snatches, they will be fine. If they have less than 15 snatches remaining, they'll have a new event record.
And these guys are moving, they're flying, and they need to. A lot of these guys, first times up, they're just going legless, pinching on the way down with their legs. You don't want to go so haphazard that you forget to pinch and just use all upper body and then fatigue after the first 6 or so rope climbs.
There's a team not only trying to hunt down an event win, but an event record. Now we go to CrossFit Queens on the left and the black top. Woodbridge on the right. Queens again came in with 318 points. They were 14 points ahead of East Woodbridge on the right, who are in the blue shorts with 304 points. The top 5 goes to Madison, Wisconsin. They still have 100 points on the line later this afternoon, but trying to close the gap. And again, we saw Milford making a little bit of move early. There's several teams. Again, anyone in this top 13 of the team, if they can hit a home run, may have a chance to bump up before event number 6. But Invictus Boston is now going to go on it. And right now, Invictus Boston still on that current event record pace. Back to Queens on the left and Woodbridge on the right. That is the big battle here, at least in Heat 3 of event number 5, trying to get a top 5 spot.
These two teams just have so much pressure on them. And so far, they look really, they're doing a great job. The guys really are doing a nice job. Quick transition, tapping out. They're remembering the little things, keeping the rope close. Oh, that right there, there was a little hesitation.
East Woodbridge is making their way to the rower. So Woodbridge trying to make up the 14 points, currently sitting in 6th place. They got all top 8 finishes this weekend. Queens, a 1st, a 2nd, a 6th, and a 16th. Those 2 top 2s really helped them yesterday. Left side again is Queens trying to make their way down. They've got 3 rope climbs remaining. And that's gonna take a little bit of time once you get on the rowers, because as long as you're an efficient rower, you can eat up the calories. And it looks like the top of the screen, that may be CrossFit Milford in lane number 2. You just saw in the red shorts and the black tops, and they are starting to pull on the rower. And so they're gonna get in there. They're gonna have something to say. If they can chase down East Woodbridge, they could potentially jump Woodbridge and Queens and get to the top 5. We'll see how this works out. Here is Milford now on the rowers. Black tops, blue shorts.
And this is the part for the gentlemen too. They can really move on the rower. When they get to the barbell, they're gonna have fast cycle times, and all their females have given them a lot of time to be able to get through a lot of that portion when they get to the barbell.
So that was Queens that got to the rower, but on to the left was Milford. So Milford did get ahead of Queens. So now Milford's thinking about trying to track down East Woodbridge. Milford could be the team that makes the big jump. Here comes Invictus Boston. Their 2 males onto the snatches, and they will have about 3 minutes and 10 seconds now to rip through the 60 snatches.
And I expect bigger sets here.
Again, as long as they finish with fewer than 15 reps remaining, they will have the event record. They have 3 top 3 event finishes. 1 event number 2 yesterday, a 3rd and a 6th place. Which those 2 events vaulted them into 1st place overall, and they have held on to it. It looks like they're going to hold on to it with 100 points remaining. East Woodbridge now getting off the rower. They'll make their way down the lane to the snatch. Their females encouraging them to say, get down there as quickly as you can. 14 points out. Invictus took a quick look. Invictus on the left in the black top again in 1st place. Woodbridge over in the right, shirtless with the blue shorts.
For Woodbridge, it's exciting that they have somebody to chase, because that makes you push a little harder rather than when you're the only one out there in front.
That was Queens. It looked like Milton was about to get off the rower back to East Woodbridge. Brandon Crump, Stephen Christini, the 2 males from East Woodbridge. Top of your screen in lane 2. That's Milford moving forward. Can they track down East Woodbridge?
Blue shorts of Woodbridge. Wow, that cycle time is fast. He transitioned the bar and picked it back up. That's incredible. That saves a lot of time.
Difficult part sometime. Here comes CrossFit Queens. Queens trying to catch up with Milford right next to him with a tie-dye shirt. Milford has a chance to catch up with Queens and Woodbridge, but the way Woodbridge was cycling through the barbell, Woodbridge is going to make the big jump, and out front in the black top with the barbell over his head was Invictus Boston. They're trying to set the event record. They've got a minute and a half here, and again need less than 15 reps. If they move it forward, they've got 20 reps left. As long as they get 5 in this next section, they will have an event record and a chance to be the first team to finish the event.
And they might not be the only one. Woodbridge may be able to squeak in too.
Tola and Nathan for Invictus with less than 20 reps remaining. Just over a minute remaining. Not only event record, but they can claim the only team to finish event number 6. Tola Morquinho, Nathan McCabe, and it was all set up by Kelsey Kill and Brianna Hamilton racing through. 10 reps remaining now, 45 seconds. Let's listen to this crowd. 5 reps remaining. Invictus Boston stands alone. An event record, the only team to finish event 5.
That was an incredible team effort. The ultimate work together. Every member pulled their weight. Pushed hard. That was incredible. What a finish for Invictus Boston. We're coming in at first and we're not backing down.
The big story in this one, though, number 1, the event record, obviously, but Woodbridge staying ahead of Queens, and Milford made a late push. They may have bumped ahead of Queens, but it looked like Woodbridge finished ahead of both Milford and Queens. This is all unofficial. How many spots was Woodbridge able to get ahead of Queens? Did they make the jump? Of course, all the official information on games.crossfit.com. There's Brianna Hamilton, very happy with Kelsey Kill, and really, the show at the end was Tola and Nathan, but Kelsey and Brianna set the pace. They allowed those two guys to get on there and rip through it.
They did. This event was really all about being able to have no weaknesses, no weak links in your team. And CrossFit Invictus Boston, they did not have any weaknesses. They attacked and they executed those rope climbs. They went onto the rower, just dominated on the row, got to the barbell first, and this is really where they just kept their cycle speed on that barbell, leaving their men enough time to get through this thing, and they really pushed. The guys pushed through the same amount for the portions and really didn't hold back. They had a little bit of, a little bit of a team to chase there with Woodbridge and with Queens, and they were just able to keep that distance between them. And looking at the clock for that event record is awesome. The only team to finish.
All you can eat?
All you can eat.
Team Invictus Boston, there's been 2 regions attempt this event. You're the first team to complete it. So give yourselves a pat on the back there. Why were you guys able to complete this event?
Just trusting in one another. We followed the game plan. If something didn't go as planned, we just go to plan B, whatever that is. Just keep moving, and we just trust in one another, so.
You guys have been the picture of consistency, near the top 5 or winning an event all weekend. Why have you guys been so successful this weekend?
It's just a big picture mindset. It's not just about regionals, it's about the next stage. And we're just trying to be the best we can here, so it's practice for later.
So we got 1 event left to go. You guys just finished this one. What can we expect from you guys in a sprint-like event?
Smash time. Pretty much empty the tank, whatever we got left. If it's 50% of our 100%, we're going to give it to you. That's all we got.
All right, guys, we'll go fuel up, fill that tank up. We'll see y'all in event 6.
Thank you.
100 points, another 100 points for Invictus Boston, their 2nd event win, and the only team to finish. What a way to start your morning here in Albany, New York. In the meantime, we'll send it out to the HQ studios and get an update on all the action.
And Ladies and gentlemen, the final time you're going to see these teams hit the competition floor in 2018. Make some noise for your Heat 1 teams at the East Regional. In lane number 9, CrossFit Laval, Force 5. In lane number 7, Move Fast Freedom. In lane number 6, Flower City CrossFit. In lane number 4, Team CrossFit ADM. In lane number 3, CrossFit Norwalk. 1 minute. In lane number 2, North Haven CrossFit. And rounding out your Heat 1 teams in lane number 1, Metric. "30 seconds. "10 seconds. Stand by. And the final opportunity to climb the rankings is right here, right now, for the teams out on the competition floor. A fast finish to a long weekend of competition, event number 6. 9-minute time cap for our teams to complete 144 handstand push-ups, while another competitor holds that handstand on the wall. And then finally, it's a 144-foot worm lunge down to one side and then back the other way. So you'll note here early on, they're going to have to cycle through in the same clockwise fashion. The athlete that goes from the hold, going to have to then go and chip away reps. And then 2 athletes resting. We had a fun race in our last event in heat number 1. Laval Force 5 down in lane number 9, leading the way. Let's see if they'll do the same here on this final event of the weekend, as we approach the 90-second mark, coming up on 90 seconds in. Reps in for Laval Force 5 as we pass the 2-minute mark. And the magic number 144 between the 4 athletes. "70 reps in for Move Fast Freedom as they near the midway point. Over 50 reps in for Flower City. Interesting to see some strategies. Some teams with much smaller sets than others. A quick 5 to 10. And just a quick rotation as now we come upon the 3-minute mark. The same worm these teams have faced through 2 other events this weekend. 358 total pounds. There's two 100-pound segments, two 70-pound segments, 6-pound segments in between. The final taste of the worm still to come between the 3.5-minute mark. $122 reps for Laval Force 5. And they won their heat on event number 5. Means they're getting close though. Less than 20 reps to go for Laval Force 5. But beating them to the worm is down on the opposite side of the floor. Team Metric having a very good final day of competition as we pass the 4-minute mark.
32, 33, over your hips, 34. You got 10 left, 10 left.
Again, they've got to head down the floor and back. As joining them now, North Haven CrossFit, and sprinting down the floor, Team CrossFit ADM. So it's going to be those three teams get moving. They've got it on their right shoulder for all these squads. So your leaders, Metric in the blue pants. Now Laval Force 5 making their way down. So just to give you guys some context as this thing continues, 5:27, the event record set out in Europe. So we'll see what kind of time these teams put up as we got a little pass going on. Not quite a drag race, but Team CrossFit ADM certainly knowing how to handle the worm, and they'll pull ahead by nearly 10 feet. So they're gonna have to cross the red line and then turn back. A no rep as they've got to put it down. Here comes an opportunity now for North Haven CrossFit to pull back ahead, and that's just what they will do. A couple more steps to go for North Haven as they will be the first team to cross the midway point at 5:37. Looking to close out their 2018 season the right way, two-way tie between Team CrossFit ADM and North Haven CrossFit as North Haven gets the worm back to their shoulders and begins heading back down the other way. But a little miscommunication in the first lunge is going to lend itself well to Team CrossFit ADM. Uh-oh, they're also going to have some miscommunication as they put it down. So it's North Haven CrossFit with an opportunity to set the time to beat on the final team event here in the East. But don't count out Team CrossFit ADM, a full length of the worm behind. Who will be able to keep that thing on their shoulders and not put it down, ladies and gentlemen? They've got to go another total 20 feet, and North Haven CrossFit will have it. Can they hang on? CrossFit ADM less than 20 feet to go. It is still North Haven CrossFit with a few steps remaining. They've got to get the worm entirely across that red line and set the time to beat, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for North Haven CrossFit. Closing out their weekend as well, Team CrossFit ADM. So that time to beat their 7:12 as we look to see if the other four teams working on their lunges will be able to close it out beneath the cap. Less than 90 seconds to do so. Move Fast Freedom is within 10 feet. And the New York-based squad, just a couple reps to go. One more rep, and Move Fast Freedom. Just under that 8-minute mark. Yeah! Metric. Yeah! And the team a few lanes over, CrossFit Norwalk, also within distance of closing this thing out. Metric in lane number 1 will stand up their final lunge, and they are done with their 2018 Regionals experience. CrossFit Norwalk now just another step to go. And Norwalk wraps it up. 30 seconds, athletes. CrossFit Laval Force 5 down to their last 10 feet to go. 20 seconds. Trying to keep it on their shoulders. Got to get that entirety of the worm across the line. One more lunge to go. 10 seconds. And they will wrap it up. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And time. Ladies and gentlemen, keep that applause coming. It's the last time you're going to see these teams out on the competition floor here in 2018. And an extra special shout out for the 7 minutes and 12-second time to beat set by North Haven CrossFit.
High drama inside the Times Union Center in Albany, New York. It is the final event of the 2018 East Regional. I'm Jeff White alongside Tanya Wagner. We'll hear later on from Nick Zielinski. Invictus Boston did what they needed to do in event record. The only team to finish event 5, so they are in first place, should be comfortable. But from 2nd to 7th place right now, Tanya, 18 points. There's 6 teams vying for just 4 spots.
It is so much drama, and this is what happens on the final day of competition. Crazy. Pro 1 Montreal just 2 points out of qualifying position. CrossFit Milford just took a 3rd place in that last event, so they bumped themselves up only 16 points out. Basically, 2 through 5 is a win and in. CrossFit Milford has to have some other things go wrong, but if they win, they're in a qualifying position. There's just so much pressure on the line right now, Jeff. Everyone needs to have a perfect final event.
So again, 2 through 6 vying for those 4 spots. Invictus Boston with 452 points should be fairly comfortable. Tanya, here's what they have to do. It's going to go relatively quickly.
This is a fast event. 144 handstand push-ups as a team. They break them up however they would like. Then a 144-foot worm lunge. They're going to lunge as a team all the way down the field and then all the way back. They have a 9-minute cap. They won't need it.
We will see those top teams in Heat 3. Here's how they line up in Heat number 2. And some of the familiar names we've seen really make a name for themselves that we'll watch next year. We've seen Cash Rowe spend a little time in the top 10. Yankee CrossFit, CrossFit Quebec City sitting just outside the top 10 right now in 11th place. And they are lane number 5. So that's how the lineup here for Heat number 2. And we are underway. 144 handstand push-ups. One athlete who starts the handstand push-ups. The other athlete is standing home. The other 2 resting. Split the workout any way you want to, but you do have to stay in the same rotation.
And all this is with the one athlete being on their hands is really just kind of taxing them and fatiguing them a little bit. A lot of times athletes know how many handstand push-ups they can do, shake it out and then get back to it, but that throws a little curveball when you have to stay on your hands and keep your muscles engaged.
They'll rotate over once they get done with the athlete doing the handstand push-up and the other athlete doing the static hold. You just rotate over toward the right. And again, here's where you can really play to a strength of your team, at least in this part of this event, in this test. You've got that gymnastics background, let them eat up all the handstand push-ups.
Oh yeah, for sure. They have the muscular endurance, they have the strength. The key to this one is the fastest handstand push-up. It's not just, oh, let me go ahead, I can get it into a couple. Well, that's no good if you're taking 3 or 4 seconds in between your handstand push-ups. Get your fastest ones in. Get them quick, get out. Let the next person do them. The speed is the name of the game here with the handstand push-ups.
Really, as you said, no time to kind of sit there and reset at the bottom of the handstand push-up. As soon as you take that pause, you need to bounce off the wall. First time we've seen dipping handstand push-ups in a while for the team. I believe it may have been 2015 off the top of my head. We've seen the deficit, we've seen the strict handstand push-ups, though they've been in there every year.
And that's been, the name of the game was how much more difficult can they get these handstand push-ups. Don't just be good at them, be able to do deficit, be able to do all of that. I like bringing it back because what this shows, it shows the speed. It also shows the ability to just fatigue those muscles even more. You can go quicker, and it also fires up your lungs a little bit more.
That's the pace you want right there.
And so when your pace starts to slow, if that's your fast pace and it starts to slow, that's when you got to get out. It's not maybe you can do more reps, but get out when as soon as you start to slow down.
Because the fact is, with 144, you're probably at least going to get 2 sets. You're probably at least going to rotate through this at least 2 times, maybe 3. Actually, 2013, the last time the kit has been allowed in the handstand push-up. Here we go, starting in lane 10, New England. Here comes Select flipping up into the handstand push-up, red zone in red shorts. Yankee CrossFit now, the green shorts, the male doing a handstand push-ups. Seen Jeshro out of Quebec now, these purple pants. Here comes Quebec City, currently in 11th place in the green tops, Coliseum Strength. CrossFit Southie, the male in the army green shirt. Purple pants, that's CrossFit Crag. In lane number 1, CrossFit 207. I like their motto, strong like bull. Back to lane 3, excuse me, CrossFit Southie here.
What this handstand push-up is going to do, taxes the shoulders, and if you've ever picked up the worm, you're going to need your shoulders to stabilize and support, especially when you're lunging.
Here comes CrossFit Southie. They're a little bit off of event record pace, but they've got a chance here to set the event lead. They'll begin to lunge down, then they'll have to lunge it back. And also joining them at the bottom of your screen in the white and the red, going to be CrossFit Red Zone. Interesting CrossFit Twitter put out today. Basically, how bad do you want to hurt? Do you want to go to the regionals? Now, these competitors here in Heat 2 won't go to the regionals, but how bad do you want to go out with a Heat win?
Well, and that's it. This worm holding it together, really, the biggest thing is teamwork. There's not a lot of technical skill to it. Your shoulders are fried from the handstand push-ups, so there's some fatigue there. You just have to keep your arm up, keep that worm supported. But really, it's lunging together. If you don't lunge together, then you are... we're watching here some of the teams just watching their knees. They have to touch all at the same time. If you have a no rep, it is so costly because you have to put the worm down. So composure and tempo is going to be key here.
There's a very proud team on team left trying to get the time to beat here. In Heat 1, it was North Haven CrossFit 7:12.87. So 7:12.87, your time to beat. It's CrossFit New England on the front of your screen, and Tori Dyson leading the way. 6-time affiliate cup team. They have won the affiliate cup once. Now we're getting ready to turn things around here for CrossFit Quebec City on your screen. They've had a 5th place finish, an 11th, the 22nd. They've been one top 5, and that was on day number 1 and event number 1.
And this is what's hard, the communication when you turn around. Now you have a different leader in the front of the worm. It's hard for him to see what's going on, so he's just calling it out. Everybody else has to watch and make sure they're ready. Definitely a lot of room for error here, and with your fast teams, when we're going to race even in this next heat, that's going to be key to make sure that you keep yourself together.
A lot on the line here for Quebec City. Yes, they won't get a spot to Madison, but when the day is done over the next year, they can say they were a top 10 team in the East region. Now having a little bit of an issue on the way back, and next to them, Coliseum Strength in those light green tops starting to make up some ground. Who can hang on the longest? That's what it's going to be. And in the forefront of your screen in lane 8 in the red shorts, that's CrossFit Red Zone. And now they're going lunge for lunge.
They're in a nice pattern, good sync.
In Red Zone, pulling ahead by about 3 feet. Red Zone, as long as they don't break, they're going to take it. And they look good out in front. The male athlete waving for the crowd to come to its feet.
And when you can find your groove, the worm just goes along with you. They're keeping that solid.
Red Zone is across, and they have the new time to beat at 6:22. Quebec City followed by Coliseum Strength. Good job by Red Zone. It's just a steady pace as they were the 3rd team to get on the worm. They were significantly behind Quebec City and Coliseum Strength, but I don't think they broke either way, down or down. I know they didn't break on the way back.
No, Well, and that's it. If you can go at a slower pace and get your tempo down, you're better off. They were conservative, and they really did stick together. Save the energy from having to pick that warm up more than they needed to.
6:22:04 for CrossFit Red Zone out of Newtown, Connecticut. We'll see several teams making their way back in lane number 9. That's CrossFit Select in the lead on the left side of your screen out of Mississauga, Ontario. 10th place finish earlier today. Currently in 14th place overall. You're gonna have to get on the finish mat here. 9-minute time cap, less than 2 minutes remain. And this is where it's critical as they get across for your athlete in the back to communicate and say, I'm across the red line. The judge makes a signal, but still, as the athlete, you want to tell everybody, let's go.
The worst thing that could happen is your front athlete drops the worm ahead of time and you have to pick that worm up.
Lane 1 and 10, New England at the bottom of your screen in the black. That's CrossFit 207 up high. Who can get in here? Fourth in the heat.
Tori Dyson just taking so much of that weight on her shoulder. She's the shortest athlete on her team, and that's what happens with the height disparity between the athletes. One athlete really does take a lot more of the loading, and it's just harder on them. They take so much more of that pressure. She had the pressure on the way down when she was in the front, and then there on the way back as well.
207 edged New England, and then Yankee CrossFit got in. Now in lane number 3, CrossFit Southie out of Boston, Massachusetts will drop with less than a minute remaining in the time cap. Their best finish, Southie, a 12th in event 3 yesterday morning. So a few teams still remaining in lane 2. That's Crag on the left in the blue pants down the top of your screen. Dropping in lane number 6, Lucine Tachereau out of Quebec as they'll pick it back up. So it's Crag at the top. They're trying to get in, and it's going to be tough to make the time cap. 20 seconds remaining here in the 9-minute cap. Ten seconds to go. Here come the other athletes starting to make their way out. So Red Zone takes the heat. They now have the time to beat as well, 6:22:04. 2 heats are done, only 1 heat remaining in team competition. 100 points on the line for everything. 5 spots to Madison in 2nd through 7th, just 18 points. It is going to be incredible, and it's coming away from Albany, New York. This is it. This is what it's all about. 100 points. Trips to Madison, Wisconsin on the line. It is the final heat of the final event from Albany, New York at the 2018 CrossFit East Regional. I'm Jeff White alongside Tanya Wagner. We'll be joined later on the floor by Nick Zielinski. And so much standing here. Invictus Boston, they look relatively safe, but 2nd through 6, and actually 7th through 7th in Milford. 16 points, 18 points total, separating everything. Really, it's going to be 6 teams for 4 spots here.
There is so much drama, and after the last event with teams shifting places and the points, it doesn't get any closer than this. It is ridiculous. I can't even stand this. I can't wait to start this event. It's going to be a race. The teams we are watching, though, are lane 5 and 6, 6 and 7, Pro 1 Montreal and Team Fraternity. They are in 5th and 6th place, just 2 points away from each other. It's going to be unreal the way they handle this pressure, the way they start these handstand push-ups off. The event starts like this: 144 handstand push-ups, then 144-foot worm lunge. As a team, they can break up the handstand push-ups however they want, and then they have to work together with that worm back and down the field of play. Whoever does that the fastest, they're going to Madison, Wisconsin.
So a trip to the CrossFit Games is on the line. There's Pro 1 Montreal. 9th place earlier today, 6 overall. Here we go, 144 handstand push-ups. And we talked about it earlier today. Pro 1 Montreal, a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, an 8th, and a 9th. Usually that says you're in, you're going to Madison, Wisconsin, but not this year. They're 2 points out. They need to make up the ground.
Well, they also need to get ahead of those other teams ahead of them. So there's not enough time in this event to watch where anybody else is at. You really just need to play your game. There's times when you need to game it, but in this event, you just need to be as fast as possible on the handstand push-ups. And then the only people you should be looking at when you get to the worm is your teammates. You need to just keep yourself together as one unit.
We've talked about the point several times over the weekend. Here's kind of how it breaks down. It's kind of a graduated scale. You get a 6-point cushion, 100 points for first, 94 for second, 88 for third. But then it begins to shrink. So if you get a top 3, you get it 6 points. But once it gets to the 4th, it goes down to 4 points. So on and so on. Continually shrink. So just because you may finish 10th or 11th overall in this event doesn't mean you can't make up the ground, and vice versa. If you hit a home run, you're really safe after this event.
And that's really just it. You can't play the scenarios for these teams. The only thing they should be thinking is, I need to win this event, and then I know we're good.
Because after 2014, we switched to the game system in the regional. It used to be a point for first, 2 for second. You kind of knew who was going after the first day, but not anymore. Again, 144 handstand push-ups. Here is the race for at least 5th and 6th, but again, a lot of teams in play. Lane 7 on your left of the green pants, Pro 1 Montreal. Lane 6 on your right of the white tank top. That's Team Fraternity, who holds a 2-point lead right now in 5th place after a 9th place finish earlier today. Let's take a look at how tight this thing is. 2 through 6. 2 points, that's it. 2 teams tied at 398. 2 teams tied at 396. Pro 1 Montreal at 394.
Reebok CrossFit 1 is one of those teams there in 4th place, and they usually see themselves in this position. Last event, it all comes down to last event. They need a good event here. They need to work together as a team, especially on that worm. But Jeff, they have a big difference in height ranges with their team, especially for those lunges.
Took a look at those teams, and Milford really not completely out of it. 16 points, they come away with an event win. And 100 points, they can find themselves in. But really, we're going to watch this 5 and 6 spot. That's the gatekeeper position.
Milford is one of the best when it comes to working with the worms. Historically, in events, when they have their 6-man teams, they always put up the best with the worms. They're at the top. But we haven't seen that same team here with the worm this competition, but they really did make a good push, getting 3rd in the event just a little while ago.
Here comes lane 7. It's Pro 1 Montreal. Pro 1 Montreal currently in 6th place. They're 2 points behind. This is huge for Pro 1 Montreal. They have an event win already. Quickly in lane 5, that's going to be Invictus. They need just a top 12 to win the region. So Pro 1 Montreal really doesn't need to pay attention to Invictus whatsoever. All they need to know is to keep on moving. East Woodbridge right now in 3rd place. They've got a 4-point cushion. So pardon me, East Woodbridge still doesn't need to pay attention to Invictus at all. They just need to keep moving along. Reebok CrossFit 1 is out there as well. Here is Fraternity. Fraternity still on the handstand push-ups. And they've got to get off the wall quickly. They need to move and get out and join the party on the lunges.
And this is huge for Reebok 1 and East Woodbridge. They have just such a huge lead. They need to just maintain composure now.
But in lane 8, East Woodbridge doing what they need to do to stay in the top 5. Here comes Pro 1 Montreal. They are now on the move. Pro 1 Montreal doesn't need to pay attention to the teams ahead of them right now, but the teams coming out they need to pay attention to. Here we go, 6 and 7. Lane 7 on the right is Pro 1 Montreal. Fraternity on the left. Can they make up ground? They were just separated by 2 points. Fraternity with the 2-point lead in the all-white. The green pants on the right is Pro 1 Montreal. And Fraternity making up the ground quickly. Here comes Fraternity. Did they even put the weights in this worm?
Look at the way they lunge. They don't do the stop step. They just go on right to the next step. This is huge. They are sprinting with this worm.
We were a little concerned they were taking too long on the handstand push-ups. They're making it up on the lunge. Meanwhile, you see Invictus Boston out in front in lane 5 in the black tops. Next to Invictus Boston, Reebok CrossFit 1, but we go back to Fraternity in Montreal. They have dropped the worm, they'll turn and pick it up, the lunge back.
Reebok CrossFit 1.
CrossFit 1 could, or rather Invictus, a a chance for another event record. They've got a chance that they can get on the finish mat, and they do. They're going to finish just ahead of Soyuz in the European Regional. Two double event records today. And a regional championship for Invictus Boston. Reebok CrossFit 1 is in. Reebok CrossFit 1 should have secured their spot to Madison, Wisconsin as well. Down in lane number 8 is East Woodbridge in the blue shorts. East Woodbridge should be good to go to Madison as they will step on the finish mat in 5:48. Here we go. What a race. They are step for step. Fraternity in the all-white in the middle of your screen. Just below them in the green pants. Pro 1 Montreal. But will physics throw a wrench in this thing at the bottom of your screen? Are they going to get in between? Right now, Fraternity in the all-white just ahead. Again, a 2-point lead over Montreal in the green pants. All 4 athletes need to get across the red line. And it's gonna be Fraternity with a 2-point cushion just ahead. It looks like a Pro 1 Montreal. A nice slide in there by Pro 1 Montreal. It's gonna depend on the chip timer. And it's gonna be too close to call in lane 3. We just saw CrossFit Queens come across. Nothing is official, Tanya, as you know. We're not going to call anything right here. We're going to wait for the leaderboard to update. But what a race.
Wow, that was what we expected. This is what you love. That is the pressure. It is just so much to hold together as a team. Man, that was fun.
RX Lab, the Flying V at the bottom of your screen in 10th place after a 22nd place finish earlier today. See if they can hang on to a top 10 before they leave Albany. But a very, very happy Pro 1 Montreal team.
Pro 1 Montreal, they were 6th. They gave that push. But East Woodbridge, man, East Woodbridge came in today. They were in that 6th place position coming in today, got themselves up to 3rd, and then just nailed it with that 3rd place finish in that event.
And here comes Milford. They're not going to go to Madison. They needed a decent finish. They didn't need to win it, but they needed to make up 16 points. They're not going to do it, but they'll come across. We'll see if they can hang on to a top 10 once the weekend is over. But a great, incredible race by Fraternity. It looked like all 4 were going to get across until the male from Pro 1 Montreal did the slide. We'll see the chip timer, but there you go, Invictus Boston. How about 2 event records? They're not making a statement for the East. They're going for a podium spot in Madison.
I mean, just incredible. Their 6th place finish in event 4 yesterday's final event was their worst finish. That was a 6th place. But what an incredible weekend for them. 2 event records, 3 first place finishes, 2 third place event finishes, and that 1 6th place. Just incredible. A dominating team.
Let's go, Knowles.
Brianna Hamilton showing the FSU logo, played softball at Florida State. So a very happy Seminole and a very happy Invictus Boston team. Again, the official information is on games.crossfit.com. They're going to have to sort through the points. So a very hardworking scoring team off to our left's going to have to figure up a lot of points. We know Invictus Boston, and that's the only team I'm really going to call here. I want to wait to see how all the points shake out.
Yeah, really, we can say that. I also think we're pretty safe to say Reebok CrossFit 1 came in with that 2nd place finish in the event. They were only down in the 4th place position, but only by a few points. They beat East Woodbridge. They needed to do that, beat Queens, so they should be pretty safe as well. That was a solid effort from them. It really was the handstand push-ups in this event that most of the teams getting themselves out in the lead was key for that. But I'll tell you, the way some of these teams have worked together with that worm, they have practiced, and I didn't expect to see the way Fraternity was doing their lunges and just no stutter step. It was just one after the other. They were powerful. They're dominating that worm.
Well, the only team that the handstand push-ups didn't affect was Fraternity, because we had commented they're taking too long on the handstand push-ups. Once they get on the worm, though, it looked like, well, maybe they just put some styrofoam in their worm.
Well, that's what I was thinking that. I'm like, oh, man, if Dave Castro was watching this one, he's up in the weight on that worm next year.
Let's take a look at the winners here and how the heat progressed.
Team Invictus, they were the first ones off of the handstand push-ups. They got their worm up. It was East Woodbridge that gave them some pressure, and Reebok 1 that were out on the floor with them. But really, Invictus was solid. Their team communicates well. They didn't have a lot of missteps on the worm, if any, and you know, taking an event record is incredible, super fun, but when you are taking an event record, it's the last event of competition. So impressive with their overall ability as a team together. That is one solid team.
Looking at it, did look like the chip timer, and this is unofficial for fraternity, slid in just ahead of the male for Pro 1 trying to slide. Again, it's unofficial. We're just looking at the highlight. Here are the unofficial. We want to stress this is unofficial right now. The event, not the heat, but the event, and again, unofficial. We want to stress that right now. So Invictus Boston with the event record. Reebok CrossFit 1 moves up, and there's a team that we do not see, Tanya, that was in second place, and no CrossFit Queens on this leaderboard.
Coming into today, we were talking about Queens. They were in the 5th place position, got themselves up to second with their finish in event number 5, but they are nowhere on that list.
I think the look on their face kind of says it. Usually you can tell, you know, you've been to the games, usually the facial expressions, and you know
where you need to be.
Pro 1 Montreal. Very happy, some smiles on their face. It's like Dan Bailey said after the sprint event that year, I believe in 2013. You don't have to look around. You know what you did.
You know, and that's it. You also know the effort you gave, and there's so much emotion on the final day. So much emotion in the final event because you've held it together for 3 days of competition. You've given your all, and it's not just about the weekend. It is the sacrifices you've made over the year. It is all the hard work, all the dedication, all those choices you've made. It comes down to this, and this is what it's all about. You've got the golden ticket if you've got a 1st through a 5th because you're going to the games.
And really, for not only the teams, for the individuals, after the final event, the timing between the finish and the announcement, just a nerve-wracking time. Except unless you're Invictus, and Invictus, they know they've punched their ticket. They are very happy. And like I said, I think this is an Invictus team. Remember, they got cut before the final event in Madison last year, had it in the palm of their hands, and just kind of bombed out on the second to last event. So they didn't get to finish the games inside the Coliseum. So I think they're coming back on a mission, not to get in the top 10 of the games, but maybe to make a stop on that podium.
Well, a statement also that 2 years in a row, we're taking this region, and if we're going to dominate here, we have to show that we're not just trying to get to the games. We want to dominate wherever we can, use the opportunity for competition, for the environment to just push ourselves to the max, because once we get to the games, it's going to be a lot harder. There's going to be a lot better competition out there.
And it's been so much fun watching the team competition develop over the last really 3 to 4 years. You've got some big names to go into the team competition. We've got, of course, Spencer Hendel, Austin Malialo here in this region on Reebok CrossFit 1. I guess it really developed about 2015 when it really busted out on the scene. Teams were fun to watch, but then you get Froning and his team. You had the NorCal team that year, and now you have the team out in the South with Travis Williams and Sheila Bard, and it's really growing. This is going to be some fun stuff to watch when we get to Madison.
And that's it. You know, it's no longer just the teams are just there just for fun as part of the affiliates. They are all top athletes, and you put them in the individual competition, and many of them belong there, and they declined that invitation to go team. But even the ones that didn't would be able to hold their own for quite a bit of time amongst the majority, the middle range athletes there in the individual competition.
Getting a little bit closer is Ashley Wasley having some fun there. They're validating the scores right now, so just double checking it. And as close as this is, Tanya, you can't double check it enough right here.
No, that you want it to be right. What a good set of tests, though. Overall, the entire weekend, 3 days of competition, really loved the style. Everybody was anxious to see what is this 4-man team going to look like? What are the events going to be? How's it going to feel? Overall, I'm really impressed. I like the way, a little less chaotic, you can really see individual athletes' strengths and kind of see how they strategize and work together a little more cohesive unit with 4. And so I really did, I was a big fan of the 4-person team. And the set of tests that they were given. Just divvying it up, still seeing some elements and flavor of years past that we've seen with different styles of the male-female pairs and the male-male, female-female pairing, but then also some differences, work all together, do some other things with the worm. So I like what we see, and I think ultimately when it comes down to the final day and the final event and you have things this tight, it means it was a good competition, it was a good race, it was a good test.
Again, everything being validated right now. And again, everyone at home and oh hitting refresh at games.crossfit.com on the leaderboard right now just to see. Again, nothing is official. We are going to wait for the announcement here. It looks like it may be coming up here pretty soon on the competition floor as Chuck Carswell and his judging crew have walked back out to the floor now with a piece of paper. That may be the magic piece of paper that has just arrived here.
And all eyes are on them right now.
Everyone watching Mike Richards at the middle of the floor to see what that piece of paper is. Well, if this is the team competition, wait till later this afternoon.
I love the East. Regional competition and the stress and the pressure in the end and waiting to hear your name.
All right. Oh, man. The list has been approved. I know you're excited. I'm excited as well. Our top team this weekend heading out to Madison in that #1 position with 552 points and 3 event wins. Albany. You know who it is. They're already excited. Give it up for Invictus, Boston! Your second place finishers in our team competition here in the East with 490 points and a dynamic win in event #3. Give it up for Reebok CrossFit One. All right, now we're getting close. Tight race for our next 3 positions. But in that #3 position, 486 points. Only 4-point separation from that #2 position. East Woodbridge!
Fucking podium.
Great job.
Podium. Oh my God.
Good work, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Oh my God.
All right, our #4 team here this weekend. Solid all weekend long. Only 10 points out of that 5th place spot. 6 points out of 3rd. Struggling through all of our awesome events here. Beating them up, enjoying the workouts. With 480 points, your Team Fiternity! Fantastic work. I got some good news. We have 1 final position remaining. At the beginning of today, less than 100 points separation from all of our top 5 teams. If we could take more, we could. With 470 total points. 10 points separation. If you can remember all the way back on Friday, event 1 victory, and our final position, Pro 1 Montreal! That is how you do it here in the East. Nobody beats the East. Week number 1 in the books for our team competition. Pro 1 Montreal, Team Fraternity, East Woodbridge, Reebok CrossFit Ones, and your East champions, Invictus Boston.
Invictus Boston is your winner, and what a team competition it was. And it was CrossFit Queens, the one team that was in, that moves out. So congratulations to all of our teams making the way to Madison, Wisconsin. Look out for this Invictus Boston team. They are on a mission. We still have the individual women and men on your way later today. But in the meantime, we're headed out to the Update Studios to see what's happening in Europe and the South as well. We'll see you later from Albany.